me live. Hey, Kristen, let me know you're here. Give me a hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. I'm going to be talking all about plant-based diets today, okay? So comment in the chat here if you're super excited for this topic. If this is your first good, the bad, and the truth training with me, say that you're here and say it's my first time here. Welcome to the group. I had a number of people join the Health and Weight Loss for Foodies group for this training exactly. A lot of my followers are plant-based and they're looking to really understand what this is. And Stacey here in the group, I loved how the other day you commented that it's a lifestyle, and I totally agree with that. I myself am a plant-based eater. Several of my Create My Weight clients are, but not everyone I work with is plant-based. And it's definitely a personal preference. It is a lifestyle. And so I want you guys to understand that this training is not designed to make you be plant-based. It's more just about giving you all the information, the good, the bad, and the truth about plant-based diets. And then you get to decide based on your goals, your preferences, and your lifestyle, what's best for you. Okay, so I always say, nudge, don't judge. I want to thank my friend Sophie for bringing that quote into my life. I've loved it ever since you did. So I know a lot of people watch the replay. So if you do have questions, you can definitely comment on the video here, and then I'll answer them later. If you're watching this live with me, you can go ahead and comment in the chat, and then I'll answer questions probably as I see them. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay, but you guys, just so you know, like my handwriting, I just looked at this before I hopped on. I was like, oh, terrible. I was super lazy, I guess, today with my handwriting. So you don't have to read anything. I'm going to present all of it to you. So just sit back, relax, have a little beverage if you want. Any Penn Staters watching with me? Look at my Penn State Yeti. Oh my God, it's so old. This is terrible. So if you're a Penn Stater watching, give me a hashtag PSU. That's my alma mater. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this party started, shall we? The good, the bad, and the truth about plant-based diets. And first and foremost, what I actually want to talk about is, what is a plant-based diet? Comment in the chat if that's a question that you're often asking yourself, or you hear the term plant-based and you're like, what the heck does that even mean? Like, what's the difference between being plant-based, being vegan, vegetarian? There's whole food plant-based, and what's better, what's worse, whatever. Again, you get to decide, but I'm going to share with you the difference between the two. And I want to thank my friend Shayna, who actually wrote this amazing article. I posted it in the group the other day, where she really differentiated between the different types of diets. And I also commented about, my experience with plant-based eating, how to get enough protein. So if you're in the group, scroll through the group and you'll see the article. I posted it a couple days ago. But okay, let's talk about the different diets first, what they are, and then we'll go into the good, the bad, and the truth. So a plant-based diet, what that means is that the majority of the foods you eat are plants, right? So veggies, fruits, grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, all those kinds of things, right? So that is like the basis, the foundation of your nutrition. That could mean you dabble in animal proteins, like maybe you have a little bit of fish, or you have a little bit of, turkey or chicken or eggs, and that's fine. And that is, that's not the foundation of your diet, but you do dabble in those foods, right? Maybe you have a little bit of dairy here and there, okay? And so I consider myself a plant-based eater, and I always use that term because that's how I eat. I live in South Florida. I live by the water, so I really do like to eat fish. And when I travel, I love to eat sushi. I love to eat all kinds of fish. And I will eat turkey like once a week, maybe. And the only reason I do that is honestly because I am allergic to certain types of soy. And as much as I love soy, it doesn't always love me. And so since that used to be a major protein source for me, I've had to kind of tweak my diet for my own goals and for my health, right? And so that's kind of why I always say I'm a plant-based eater. And of course, like, I'm the kind of person, it's just as me personally, and you can comment in the chat if you resonate with this. If I go to a restaurant and I want pizza and they don't have like vegan cheese, like, I'm okay with having some regular, buffalo mozzarella. Oh my God, like, I'm all about good quality cheese, right? If I'm gonna eat it, okay? I'm super like snobby when it comes to that. I'd rather have good quality food. Comment in the chat if you're like that. So that's what plant-based is, okay? So the foundation of your nutrition is plants, and then you might dabble in some animal products, okay? Just a little bit. Then there's whole food plant-based, okay? Now this is the most strict variation of a plant-based diet. So whole food plant-based means that you do not eat any animal products whatsoever, right? And also, in addition to that, you eat the whole food. So for example, you don't consume oil, right? So they believe in, oh, Lisa, you're calling me. I don't think you need to do that. Hey, Lisa, I'm glad you're here. I know you know you're going to make it. I'm glad you're here, girl. So they don't consume olive oil or avocado oil or coconut oil. They eat the olive, the coconut, the avocado. Does that make sense? Comment in the chat if that makes sense to you. So these people are essentially oil free. Okay. And if you are whole food plant based and I missed something about your specific nutrition, comment in the chat, right? Share that with the group. Unless I missed something. So there are some really awesome groups on Facebook for people that are whole food plant based. Clean Food Dirty Girl is actually a great one. They have like meal plans for people that want to be whole food plant based with awesome nutrition ideas there. Vegan. Okay, so vegan again is people that don't consume any animal products, so no meat, no dairy. Typically a vegan lifestyle, they also don't use any animal products. Like they don't wear leather or suede or really anything, or even honey, for example, right? If you're a true vegan, you don't even consume honey because it's an animal product, right? You don't wear fur. So it is a lifestyle, as Stacey said earlier. Okay, so that's vegan. And then there's vegetarian. Okay, and vegetarian seems to be the most popular, and that is where you really don't consume animal products, but you might consume fish might be okay for you, or eggs might be okay for you. Maybe you dab in a little bit of cheese. So actually, my husband bought a bag of shredded cheese the other day from Whole Foods, like regular like dairy cheese, and it actually said vegetarian on the label. I was like, oh, well, this is how Whole Foods is defining a vegetarian now, right? So, comment in the chat if you're a vegetarian. So I'd love for you guys, if you're watching, comment in the chat with which one you are. Plant-based, Whole Foods plant-based, vegan, or vegetarian. Okay, which one are you? And guys, I also want to be clear, like I don't believe in living by a term, right? When people ask me how I eat, I just say I'm a plant-based eater because like that's just easier to explain. But like I told you, like I don't feel guilty about having cheese once in a while, right? Like there's no sense of guilt there. So I won't like living by rules, and I think that's what Create My Weight is all about. Like we don't live by rules, we create our own rules, and so that's why I like the term plant-based, because if I use this term vegetarian, I feel restricted. And those of you who know me, you know I hate feeling restricted. I'm all about food freedom, hashtag food freedom. Linda, you're here. You know what food freedom's all about, right? Okay, so let's go into the good, the bad, and the truth. And like I said, I know you guys can't read my board, so I'm going to make sure that I explain it clearly so you know what I have back here. All right, the good aspects of plant-based diet, and I think this is no surprise to most of you watching this training, that it does provide tremendous health benefits if done properly, okay? So that's why I underlined it here. So the health benefits of eating a plant-based diet is it can drastically lower your LDL, okay? Your bad cholesterol, essentially, which I know a lot of people actually come to me because they have high cholesterol, they have high triglycerides. So it can help lowering LDL. But I want you guys to understand something, that there are so many ways to lower your LDL, right, in lifestyle. It's not just nutrition. Nutrition's a big part of it, absolutely. But there's also lifestyles like exercise and movement, stress management, right? That's also a big part of managing your LDL. So again, there are some consequences of plant-based diet I'll get to, but if you do eat, like, especially like if you're vegan, right? I mean, you would definitely lower your LDL by being vegan. Like there's no way that's not possible, right? Also, people that tend to go plant-based, right? They tend to increase very easily their fiber and their other nutrition, right? Their other nutrients. For example, if we're eating more vegetables, right, and fruits, and legumes and grains, like there is a lot of fiber in those foods, okay? Particularly the vegetables I want to mention, and then also, for example, like beans, right? So people naturally increase their fiber, right? Because meat, cheese, some of the foods we cut, they don't have fiber, none, right? So that's easy. Water intake. This I love because people don't realize that not only is drinking water important, but oftentimes people struggle to drink water. Okay, so this is like a 32 ounce, sorry about my lipstick. This is a 32 ounce Yeti, my old Penn State cup. I go 4 of those a day for about a gallon of water. But when I'm eating a lot of veggies, right, like you're also consuming water, right? Veggies are very water dense, as are fruits, right? So when you are eating plant-based, you are getting more water into your system, and having more water in your system is imperative for your metabolic functions, your energy, your focus, and it's going to help with cravings and all of these things that can sabotage your health and weight loss goals if you're on the weight loss journey. So it can increase your water intake, but most importantly, guys, being on a plant-based diet will drastically reduce inflammation if you are choosing good plant-based foods, which I'll get to here in a little bit. Okay, so if you want to reduce inflammation in the body, everyone watching this, I don't care what your goals are, will benefit from reducing inflammation in the body. Inflammation, chronic inflammation, is the root cause of so many ailments in society. Okay, not just sickness, it's bloating, it's headaches, it's aches and pains, it's, oh my gosh, you guys, so many things, right? So definitely, good for a plant-based diet. Also, I want to make this clear, people do come to me for weight loss. Majority of people do. And being plant-based can definitely facilitate weight loss. When I went plant-based almost 2 years ago, actually, I lost weight, and I wasn't trying to. That was not my intention for going plant-based. It was more of a personal choice. But it definitely can facilitate weight loss if you do it properly. Okay, and I'm going to talk about where you can go wrong. But honestly, if you are just adding more vegetables into your diet and you're getting more water, like I just talked about, and having more nutrients, I always say health first, weight loss second, both with strategy, right? So plant-based diets can definitely facilitate weight loss. Lastly, one of the biggest benefits for a plant-based diet is the environment drastically benefits. Okay, I know some of you here might have seen like the documentary The Game Changers, and it talks a lot about the environmental impact of raising meat. And even if you haven't seen The Game Changers, you don't have to go watch it, but I'm just saying that raising meat, not only does it release a lot of methane gas into the atmosphere, but the land, the amount of waste, it really is a resource sucker, right? And it affects so many resources in our society. It's expensive. So it is good to protect the environment. That was actually, honestly, guys, like my motivation for becoming plant-based, was just because the more I learned about plant-based nutrition and just the impacts on the environment, animals, all those kind of things, that was my motivation, honestly. It wasn't because of health. I'm super healthy, or weight loss wasn't my concern, but it was mainly because of this, okay? So these are the benefits, okay? And if there are any more that I didn't mention, I'm trying to keep this training short, you guys. I really am trying to keep it about 20 minutes max. So if there's anything I missed, comment in the chat and we'll enlighten everyone, okay? So the consequences of being plant-based, okay? There are some. So first of all, and I'm sure this is no surprise to a lot of you guys here watching, plant-based junk food. Now, unfortunately, the term plant-based has become a marketing term in the food industry. The food industry likes to take all these like health buzzwords and put them as labels on the bags or fronts of packaged products. And so you'll see like organic, non-GMO, plant-based, vegan, keto, whatever. You'll see these like buzzwords, okay? And then we just buy it. It's like, oh, well, it's plant-based, it must be healthy. But we don't even bother. Comment in the chat if you're guilty of this. You don't even bother to look at the back of the package and be like, well, what's in this? Like, what makes it vegan or plant-based, right? Plant-based can mean a lot of things. You guys, and I love gummy bears. All right, those of you who know me, you know I love my candy. So there was a bag of, I think it was Wholesome, the brand. I'm not knocking the brand here, but they had the Swedish fish at Whole Foods. And I saw the bag and it was candy, guys, like legit candy. And it wasn't even sugar-free, it was like regular sugar. And it was just like organic Swedish fish. They're with plant-based colors. I'm like, well, what does that even mean? So when you look on the back, okay, again, it's just colors, okay? And those of you who might not know this, raspberry color, right, actually comes from the anus of a beaver, okay? I'm like, ew, right? So I guess what this bag is saying was that it doesn't come from a beaver, right? So it's another product, but I don't know what that is. I don't like the term plant-based color. I don't get that, right? Unless they tell me it comes from raspberries or if it comes from cherries or whatever plants, that tell me that, right? But anyway, it's become this plant-based. So for example, you'll see just lots of products that are called that, but we don't know what it is, right? And that's not safe. You'll get plant-based hot dogs. Okay, well, look at the ingredients in the hot dogs. Can you pronounce what's in it? Most likely not, right? So it's not really plant-based. The basis might be the soy, right? But that soy has been so genetically modified and processed that it's not good for you, all right? GMO soy is a no-no. Absolutely not. right? And those of you who've heard me talk about soy before, I have a whole training on soy in the group, the good, the bad, and the truth about soy. You can look that up. You definitely want to do organic soy, okay? And there's a lot of plant-based junk food. So there was actually a plant-based festival that I attended last year here in Miami, and I was, an educator there, and they had all these plant-based food trucks. And so my husband and I were excited to check them out, but like really 85% of them had nothing healthy in them. Okay, like vegan mac and cheese and plant-based tacos and plant-based pizzas, but like everything was fried or just real comfort food. And guys, it's not less caloric. So that's what I mean by being plant-based. Yeah, it can facilitate weight loss, but if you're not eating the right foods, you're gonna gain weight, right? And it's not necessarily healthier, like I said. All right, can lead to weight gain. Okay, so I just kind of touched on that a little bit. But actually, Taylor had a good question, because I know, Taylor, you were a keto girl, and this happens a lot when people are trying to transition into a plant-based diet, but they're so used to like carbs are bad, and trying to limit those certain foods, and then they're trying to change their mindset, okay, and understand. But the truth is, yes, a plant-based diet is going to traditionally be higher in carbs, right? Because if you are consuming more lentils, and other grains and beans, legumes, right? For protein, you're going to be having more carbs, and you're also going to be getting more fats, right? Because you're consuming nuts and seeds, hemp, for example, it's higher in fat. So that's one of the consequences. So when you're consuming more fats and carbs, it can absolutely lead to weight gain if you're not balancing them properly, and if your movement is not where it needs to be, right? So you do have to pay attention to the kinds of macronutrients you are eating, especially if you are on the weight loss journey, or if you are very active and you are weight training, and you need to make sure you have enough protein, you have enough carbs, and all these things to make sure that you're going to get the results that you want. You're going to get stronger. You're not going to feel sore all the time. That's one downside I hear when people go plant-based for the first time, and they weight train a lot and they were used to consuming a lot of protein, and then all of a sudden they say that they're tired, they feel weak. They're not recovering as well, and the truth is that they're still missing nutrients in their diet, because they're still stuck in the same mindset as when they were eating meats and consuming maybe like whey protein shakes, for example. So it is a shift, right? And if you understand sports nutrition, we know that we do need to have the right nutrients, okay? So that's one of the consequences. It can lead to weight gain if not done properly, and sometimes people really are missing macronutrients if they don't really understand how to do the plant-based diet properly. All right. This is a big one, guys. Must be creative and open-minded. One of the biggest consequences or downfalls of plant-based eating is people say they get bored, right? And comment in the chat here if you feel like you get bored. And actually, Tani, who I'm coming on here live tonight at 6:30 Eastern time, I'm going to interview her about her experience at CMW. That was the reason she came to me, was because she was a plant-based eater. She ate fish, a couple times a week, but she just said like she got really bored, with eating all these healthy foods, and she's like, I like veggies and I'm cool with that, but like I just get really bored doing the same things over and over. And so when it comes to being plant-based, you do have to be creative. You have to be willing to try new foods, especially in the beginning, right? When you're transitioning from one diet to the next, and you're so used to having your chicken nuggets, and then you go and try like, corn chicken nuggets or another brand. I don't like Gardein, FYI. You go and try those, and you're like, oh, they don't taste the same. Well, because the expectation is they're going to taste just like your Purdue chicken nuggets, and they don't, right? They're definitely not going to. They're completely different. But the problem is you have to be open-minded, right? So maybe like trying other things besides chicken nuggets, right? So not going right to the plant-based meats, but actually eating real plants, okay? Not these like highly processed foods. So you have to be creative, like really trying new recipes and learning about plant-based nutrition. Like, what are the best protein sources? What are the best carb sources? Can I only eat tofu for protein? No, there are more options. I can't eat tofu anymore. I'm so upset. There are more options than tofu for plant-based. Do you have to live on protein powder for the rest of your life? No, you don't, okay? So you have to be, so creative, trying new foods, and you have to be open-minded, okay? And not think, but subconsciously, this is not going to work for me. If we think that, right? If we have the expectation that it's not going to work for us, guess what? It's not going to work for you. All right? Letting go of expectation is everything. CMW people, how many times a week do I say that? Oh my God, every day, at least once. Okay. Last but not least, expensive products. Now, I want to say something. Eating plant-based is not expensive if you do it properly, right? But because the food industry is really kind of like trying to market as much as they can with plant-based, they are jacking up the prices of plant-based products because people are very invested in their health, right? All of you here watching are invested in your health and you're willing to put money into foods that are healthy and serve you. And the food industry knows that, right? So they're going to put plant-based on everything just so that you buy it up because, oh, that sounds good, right? But it's a marketing term. It's a label. Okay, so you find these products like these plant-based protein bars, plant-based, those Swedish fish, oh my God, they were so much more expensive, like $3 or $4 more. And guys, they had just as much sugar as like the Haribo ones, okay, like the other crappy ones. And I didn't see much of a difference, honestly, besides the colors. But anyway, so they are going to, really market that. And so they're more expensive. And so people assume, oh my God, being plant-based is so expensive. Well, yeah, if you're buying all these processed foods, they are going to be expensive. But you can get vegetables, guys, super cheap. Like my local farm, I got this huge box of veggies for $10 the other day. Okay, local produce, $10. And I know I'm lucky. I know that's not available in all parts of the country. But there are deals out there, guys. Trader Joe's has super cheap organic produce. Aldi is having more organic produce. Prices are coming down, okay? So if you're new to this and you never really looked at the price of vegetables or you remember them being super expensive, check out these stores now. They're actually having much better prices. Okay, the truth. All right, protein. Pip watching here, she probably knows that. I'm gonna really dive into this. So there is plenty of protein available if you are on a plant-based diet. In the article that Shayna wrote, and I posted here in the group, I talked all about this. I explained exactly how much protein you really need, okay, to be healthy, and then also if you're strength training and for your sports nutrition goals. So you can definitely get all of that protein with the plant-based diet. People don't realize that vegetables actually have protein in them. So for example, 1 cup of spinach, 1 cup of cauliflower, 1 cup of Brussels sprouts, broccoli, each of those veggies, 1 cup is like 3 to 4 grams, okay? Which is like, so if you make a nice stir fry or a salad, you can easily get 10, 15 grams of protein in that salad, right? And then if you add like some seeds to it or some hemp hearts, you go ahead and add tofu or tempeh. I love tempeh. You'll get a good 20, 30 grams of protein, okay? And that's not adding any meat at all. So again, you can definitely get enough protein on this diet. I promise you. Okay, and you need help with it, reach out to me because that's my specialty. Okay, if I can do it, anyone can. So I weight train 4 or 5 days a week, right? And so I've been fine on a plant-based diet. Also, you guys, when it comes to choosing how you eat, and this is really the part of the training, those of you who are new, where I encourage you to decide, right? Like what is best for you, how you want to move forward. And so one of the biggest recommendations I make to people who are deciding, should I be plant-based? Like, how can I eat? Is do eat plant-based or any of these up here because you want to. It is your choice. It is not a means to an end, right? So for example, sometimes people will go plant-based because they want to lose weight. And they're like, oh, well, if I'm just eating fruits and veggies, I'll lose weight. Right? Or, their friend did plant-based, they're plant-based and they lost a bunch of weight, so they do it too. Okay, and they're doing it just for weight loss. Like, you can lose weight so many ways besides being plant-based. And I'm not saying you should. I'm a plant-based eater myself. It's totally doable. Many people have lost weight with me being plant-based, but if it's not something that you really align with, if your heart's not in it, if you don't like what you're eating, if you don't feel like it's sustainable, I don't think it's something that is worthwhile, okay? Because again, unless you're willing to be creative and open-minded and try new things, right? And be fully aligned with the reason, then I don't think you should push yourself. That's just me, right? I'm all about food freedom and I hate restrictions. So I think that's something you need to consider. But, if you want to lower your LDL and lower your triglycerides, you want to reduce inflammation, if you are so set on your health goals, yes, plant-based eating can definitely work for you. That's what it's designed for, right? All right, so absolutely. So if you are like hell-bent on getting your health in check, which everyone should be, plant-based can definitely be for you. All right, but the truth is, and several of you commented in the group this week, and I was so happy to see this. I was so happy to see all the different responses. When I posted in the Facebook group, how do you feel about plant-based diets? I did not expect everyone to be like, I love them, they're great, I'm doing it too. No, I want to know what everyone does and what they think. And so Stacy, and I think there's a few other of you guys that said not for me. Oh, Jaquel, not for me, right? And Stacy, I know like you had some hormone issues when you went plant-based. I had a girlfriend here in Florida, she actually started losing her hair, okay? And some people, like, they get really weak. It just doesn't work for them long term. And these are people that I know tried it for months and months and months. It wasn't like they tried it for a week and gave up, right? So it isn't for everyone. And I think that's a really good point. But I don't want you to try it for 2 days and then quit, right? I always say it takes 21 days to create a habit, 90 days to create a lifestyle. So if this is a lifestyle that you really want to test and see if it works for you, give it some time. Like, learn more about the plant-based lifestyle, learn nutrition, learn like how much protein you really need, right? And what are your options? What are the best plant-based proteins? And, what restaurants around me, that are open, right, or I can order from, that have good plant-based options? How can I do quick and easy meals at home that are plant-based, right, that my family will like? Because if they're not involved, then it's gonna be harder for me. I get that all the time. Comment in the chat if you want to be plant-based, but it's a hard, topic in your family. Okay, not everyone's on board with you. These are all obstacles I hear constantly, and I want you to understand something, guys. Everything is doable. That is the mantra I want you to ingrain in your heart, that everything is doable. So if you want to be plant-based, right, you want to get healthy, you want to get fit, you want a healthy lifestyle, it is doable. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Work is a pain, your relationship struggling, your kids drive you crazy, COVID, whatever circumstance it is doable. Everything is doable. This is all doable, okay? As long as you are willing to commit to yourself and make this a priority, okay? So if you're really ready to commit to yourself, your health, your weight loss goals, your fitness journey, and you're just stuck, you're like, well, I want to be plant-based, but I'm not seeing results from it. Or am I getting enough protein? Is this doable for me? Does this make sense for me? And you want some guidance, and you want just a support system. You want to learn how to make quick, easy, plant-based recipes at home, okay? You want to learn how to order things when you're out, how to grocery shop, how the hell to read labels and not be confused by all these terms and be tricked, tricked by all these terms. When I go into a Whole Foods, and I'm not knocking Whole Foods, but when I go to Whole Foods and I see all of these products and they all say plant-based, keto, all these things, like, I feel bad. So I'm like, do people actually know what this means? I want to teach you guys that. That is all what Create My Weight is about, is education. We don't force you to do anything. We want to teach you how to create this lifestyle so you can get results and be set for life, whatever your goals are. I always say health first, weight loss second, both with strategy. Okay, so if you're ready for that, for the strategy that works for you for the rest of your life, and you'll be set. No more taking 100 trainings or reading 1,000 articles online to figure it out. That shit gets old, guys. And the internet says a million different things, right? There's another reason why people come to Create My Weight is because they're sick and tired of researching. So if you're sick and tired of researching and you're ready to finally get results and be set for life, book a free call with me. Okay, createmyweight.com/apply. And I want to hear all about you. I want to know your whys. I want to know what you've tried that hasn't worked for you. And I'll show you, if I think I can help you, I'll show you what I think will work for you. Okay, you get to choose. The choice is everything. Just like I said from the beginning, guys, choosing how you eat, that's so important, right? Not being restricted. Okay? So comment in the chat with your big takeaway from today's training. I am way over time. I actually have a call right after this. I gotta hop off. But comment in the chat with your big takeaway from today's training. I hope this served you. If there's any questions that I didn't get to answer, you can go ahead and comment in the chat. I'll get to them after this training. And then I'll also be on live today with Tani, who lost weight with me. She's set for life now on a plant-based diet. So check it out tonight, 6:30 in the group. And I will talk to you guys soon. Much love. Bye.